Hi. Hi, everybody. I see one person was waiting for me. Thank you. 305 Capricorn. Hey, girl. Okay, so the title of this video was Chaos. Was it Chaos? Venus, Heru, Jesus, Plasma, oh my, something like that. So we're going to talk about all of that and how it relates to each other and what's going on right now. It's January 2019, just in case y'all were wondering in the future. Okay, so the chaotic energy or the Kali energy or the divine feminine energy is coming in and through plasma, through energies, through, all this chaotic energy is coming into the earth right now. Okay. And you guys, oh my God, it's 2020. I'm still back last year, I guess. Okay. So I'm sorry, it's 2020. Scratch that. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all for correcting me because that would have been terrible. So yeah, 220. How could I forget? That's what the whole thing is about. So I'll make sure I put 220 in the title when I go back to edit so they know. Okay, so Venus has a plasma tail. We talked about that yesterday. A lot of those chaotic energies and plasma are now entering into the earth. It has been written about in science, so you can go and check that out online. This is not stuff I'm making up, but it all fits into, the coded version. I'm gonna say the coded version because if you read Revelations, you think it's doomsday, but the coded version of Revelations, that means if you know how to break it down and understand what it really means, it's saying the same thing is going on. Thank you, K Stan Lord Sprinkle Sprinkle. So I have an article on earthsky.org that you guys can look and find. So it says scientists discover a new type of magnetic event. And here, once again, you have this donut Earth shape, magnetic energy that's transforming the planet with the plasmas coming in now. This is from NASA. This ain't from me. But this all checks out with everything written in ancient texts as well. Okay. So basically, it's saying that there are plasma near Earth environment, and it's a new event that's been happening. And what happens is, so whenever I tell you all about the magnetosphere, it's that red field that protects the Earth against radiation and solar radiation and particles and things like that. And then we have the disruption of this. So this is no longer intact as much as it used to be, sorry. And so now the chaotic energies in the plasma from Venus, as well as a lot of the solar radiation from the sun, is getting into the planet. So it explains it all right here. So y'all can go look that up. There was a plasma event or solar storm as well in 2003, and people saw northern lights over, the South, Texas, Florida, et cetera, et cetera. So here's a photo of that. And sorry about the pop-up thing. So here's a photo of that. It was near Halloween. And that was a plasma magnetic storm. And we're going to see a lot more of those. We've seen a lot, in the summertime. We've already seen a lot of those. And people have been seeing the aurora borealis or plasma floating over them. in the sky and places that it shouldn't be. Sorry, y'all. Places where it shouldn't be. But here is a little video of how plasma works in between um, in your cells and your body. It's that energy that forms and is in between everything. When I wrote about how to heal with dark energy in my book, How to Manifest with Dark Energy, this is how I envisioned, the spaces in between your cells and, the energy and the space between is what you want to become, because that is what creates, and that is everything. Like, it's in everything. So this is how you would imagine it. Okay. So it goes on and on and on. It talks about, all these things that are going to happen more often and more and more. There's little videos on there, so y'all can check that out. It's earthsky.org. And all I typed in was Earth near plasma. No, plasma near Earth on Google, and this is what pops up. Okay, so there's plasma near Earth now. And I also searched plasma near Venus, and it talks about a lot of the it says Venus has no magnetic field. It has a magnetosphere. It's formed by the direct interaction of solar wind and with the ionosphere. And it has a magnetic tail that was first observed 1979. That was the year of my birth. Anyway, the magnetic flux tubes carried by solar wind and mass loaded by planetary blah blah. Okay, I'm just going to put it in my words. Basically, plasma sheets. Okay, we know what plasma is. These are souls, these are energies, and they are also conscious. And since there's no magnetic field on Venus, when these plasma beings get near Venus, since she's turning in the opposite direction, they kind of get caught up in her gravitation. So you can read about that. This is AGU Pub's online library. Y'all can go find it, or you can just Google plasma near Venus, and this website will probably pop up. And so it's saying that a lot of those plasmas that are on near Venus have been disrupted and now are headed, into the cosmos, which is to Earth. Okay. So a lot of you guys want, somewhere to go research and some proof and all this kind of stuff. There you go. So y'all can go look it up. It's a lot of science and math and all that kind of stuff, but I just explain it to where, the average person can kind of understand it. Okay. So that chaotic energy that's coming in is very important right now because it's creating a new type of consciousness, activating certain DNA, A, B, C, and D. And it's really going to shift things into a new direction as far as, vibration. So this morning, I don't know why, because I never do this. This morning I woke up and just clicked straight on Instagram. And I don't even really, thank you for always sharing your notes. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth Sprinkle. So I click on Instagram this morning because I don't know why. I just do. I never do that, but today I did. This is the first picture I saw. Now that's Deepak Chopra standing next to a brown naked mannequin, and he's doing a yoga pose, and he's like, his hands are together, and look at his shoes and look at his outfit, black and red. That is the colors of Gang Gang, Venus, plasma, all of that. Okay. And I thought, okay, well, coincidence. Then I keep scrolling. Then I see this. Okay, that's Cardi B in her Gang Gang outfit. Gang Gang would be like the plasma that's headed here. From the Nicki Minaj song and all the other songs that say Gang Gang, Gang Gang got the hammer and the wrench. So they look like they're in a cathedral. So they're here. That means they getting ready to possess you or bring you some knowledge or get back into or wake you up or stuff like that. Okay, so coincidence, right? Okay, coincidence. And that's funny you say Gucci Gang. Then Bruno Mars has not posted in forever on Instagram. Not that I look for him, but I just never seen it. I scroll up next and look who's posting. Bruno, and look, Gucci, and he got an all black. That's Uncle Charlie Wilson, and they're you see. So this is like a just first thing this morning. It's like okay, you got on all black, and you know what it says? It says the world could use a little love right now, and Venus is the planet of love. And who better to bring it to you than one of the greatest of all time, Uncle I am, or Uncle I'm Charlie Wilson. I had the honor to produce and sing a little background for him. Okay, with my brothers. Okay. Anyway, so that was there. Okay, so okay, coincidence. Then I keep scrolling, and here we go again with Deepak Chopra. Now he's holding up a black jacket and some red shoes. Y'all know what red shoes represent, right? Red shoes or red bottoms or red shoes means now you're on the top. The plasma is now shifting to the top of Venus or on the top of the earth and on the top of Venus because Venus is, the love planet and the chakras are shifting. So the red shoes would represent, going on top, walking on top. That's why in that Cardi B song, she says, I got red bottoms. These are bloody shoes. So and then you can, you know, relate that back to the blood or the blood of Jesus or the DNA or the bloodline or A, B, C, and D, So next, okay, I keep scrolling. I'm like, okay, who else is going to pop up? And of course, they got to pop up. Black jackets, black on black. And there are several other pictures of them posing with black coats on. So this is what I wake up to. And it's like, oh, there's so many more. I didn't take pictures of it all because it was too many. But I took the ones that I first saw when I woke up. So anyway, now the Jesus aspect of it, or the Heru aspect of it, or the divine feminine bringing in awakening the awakening the Son of Man. So in the story of Jesus, where all him and his disciples were on a boat, and he was asleep. Okay, y'all. Jesus was asleep, and everybody was on a boat. And then all of a sudden the boat started, rocking back and forth. And the disciples was like scared. So they woke up Jesus, keyword, woke up Jesus. And said, oh, help, what's going on? And Jesus said, you don't have no faith. He says, ye of little faith. So that wasn't saying, oh, you don't have any faith. That means you people that don't know who I am, or those you people that don't know, what I'm capable of. He says like, yeah, that line. And then the disciples are like thinking the boat is going to capsize and turn over. Okay. The boat represents the earth. Boat represents the earth. Boat, ship. Okay. And they thought it was going to capsize. What is capsize? Turn over, right? Polar ship, right? But Jesus was asleep the whole time. He was like, I ain't worried. And then, so when they woke him up, he was like, and he calmed the storm with his power. And so he was like, I calmed the storm. And then it was like, oh my gosh. I said, well, y'all don't believe in God. When I'm not here, what y'all gonna do? It's not me. It's people that are like me that are able to calm the storm. So don't just think it's me individually. This is not, based on a historical story. This is based on the, the story of Jesus. So basically, he was saying it's not me as an individual, it's the people that are going to be like me. So that is what he was kind of explaining when he calmed the storm, that there's going to be more storms in the future, and y'all need to figure out that it's not me that can calm the storm, but people like me. And yeah, we're going to be asleep, but when we wake up, we're going to do what we need to do. So that's basically what that story of Jesus was trying to, explain in a coded fashion. And so we have a lot of this chaos energy coming in. Chaos energy is just feminine, dark energy, and it is old. It is very old. It is ancient. It is primordial, and it is going to come in. And I think a lot of people are understanding that a lot of things are getting ready to change, and things are not going to continue as they are. But the good thing about chaos, is that when it wants to become order, it does. But first, yeah, that Lilith energy, that Kali energy, that goddess energy that's coming in, that Saturn energy is also coming in, because there was a part in Revelations where it talked about Mars and Saturn, and that's getting ready to happen right now, very soon, or it is happening. So when they talk about, you know, I explained it on the last video, but in Revelation, it doesn't particularly say Mars and Saturn, but they use coded words, and I broke it down in that last video. So when that happens, um, you know, there's events that go after, and people awaken, consciousness um, grows, new things happen, powers shift, A, B, C, and D. So it's not going to be like a disastrous thing. It's just going to be, you're going to see power shifts, and all that kind of stuff. People really becoming into themselves as gods and goddesses, and no longer, you're going to see that you're no longer going to see a victim mode or a victim mentality in a lot of people anymore. They're going to start, like, all those pictures of the everyone dressed in black represents gang, which is the plasma, which are the um, energies and the chaotic god energies, divine feminine energies that are returning into people on the earth, so that they can remember they are divine and step out of the victim role and the oppressed role, and really just remember their power and their place in A, B, C, and D. So it's not going to be something where, you know, it's going to happen overnight, but it's just going to take a lot of people not buying into the programmed stereotype that they want you to be, and start reprogramming your consciousness into who you really are. So that's kind of what's happening right now. And then once a lot of people are, you know, awake, once a lot of people are awake, it's going to have a domino effect, because, influencers are very important, because, well, celebrities, influencers, musicians are very important because they kind of set the trends. So when you see a lot of influencers starting to wake up and put out the messages in A, B, C, and D, you'll see their followers and their fans and whatnot follow suit. They don't go in the opposite direction. They follow suit. They're just like Venus. Venus is like fame. They follow the fame. They get caught up in it, and they start going in the same direction. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So that's why you see a lot of people waking up all of a sudden. They may be late, they may have overslept, but the good thing is that they will awake. Okay. So that's what's going on right now. And um I saw a lot of plasma storms and stuff like that over the summer, and I know more are coming. So it's going to get crazier and crazier as more come in, but don't be like afraid and thinking it's the end of the world. No, this is that energy that's supposed to come in and help you quote unquote reclaim the throne. Um, Thank you, living through your vision. Thank you, girl. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. So, and just like I think it was in the book of Enoch, he described a throne with fire and blue, and then there was red. Wasn't that just like the photo I showed you with the magnetosphere? And I showed you this in another video when I talked about it as well. So there's magnetospheres and magnetic fields over different planets and different places in the universe. And the first time I explained it, as a wall of fire somewhere else that we were also approaching. But then I also explained it to you. Hold on, I'm trying to find the photo. I also explained it to you like with the one that surrounds Earth as well as Venus. So let me see if I can find that picture. But anyway, in the book of Enoch, or is it book of Enoch? It describes a throne as blue and then like with fire and all this kind of stuff. So they were describing the magnetic fields around the planet. And the throne on top would be when the plasma shifts from the tail to the head on the Earth, on the planet Venus. And I think there's a Bible quote. I can't even remember it, but basically it's like you will be made the tail instead of the head or something, or you made yourself the tail instead of the head. And that's also referring to the plasma energies on Venus being like a plasma tail versus a crown. So I can't find the photo. There's so many, but anyway, I guess I'll just Google magnetosphere. So once you realize that a lot of this stuff is talking about things that are happening cosmically, then there's less fear or less worry or less superstition, I'll say. Less superstition, definitely. So here's the magnetosphere. So remember in the book of Enoch, he said that there was blue and then there was red and then there was the throne. So when you sit on top of the throne, then that represents the plasma shifting from the bottom to the top and able to control and then come into the planet with this new energy or old energy, I should say, because it ain't new. It's new to us, but old to us at the same time. Hope y'all are having an amazing new year. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Flower Power. Thoughts on reincarnation when we die? Stop. It's if you're a eumelanated being, you have options. If you want to, you can. If you don't have to. Everything is optional at that point. Okay. The Hopi red and blue Kachina star. Cool. Yep, purple rain. Yep, the poles are about to shift. The poles, not the physical poles, because, and I think I explained this when Earth is 40 Earth, there's more than 2 poles. But the energy is going to shift. The magnetic poles are going to shift. And but remember the Jesus story about the ship getting ready to capsize. The calming of the storm represents when we wake up, the chaos will then stop. You see? So a lot of people have been putting out hidden coded knowledge in movies for, forever, in music and videos and whatnot, and social media. And to wake up, the quote unquote sons of man or the Christos. And that's what's happening. So In order to do this easily and peacefully, it had to be coded, and people have to search for it so that they find the knowledge themselves, so that they really believe it, so that they really awaken. And it's not just another form of brainwashing. And they can really, truly, honestly control and use their divine powers to, change whatever is happening. So that's what's going on. hmm The new Pirates of the Caribbean. He had to flip the ship upside down like Stranger Things. Yep. That whole Pirates of the Caribbean is super code as well. So everything is code now because they have to wake us up. Mhm. Or else, ring the alarm. Black Eyed Peas, Beyonce, ring the alarm. Wake up. So the awakening is to basically save the earth from mass chaos, because the chaos will pursue until enough enough beings are awakened to take it and put it back into order. There. Um, that's right. If you melanated, you don't sunburn, you good. Okay. That's you either phenomelanated or you melanated. I don't know. What is the code to Beyonce sending orange boxes to all these people? What kind of orange boxes is it? Hermes? Because if it's the brand Hermes, that's an orange box. And it could, Hermes, Trismegistus, Thoth. I don't know. What is she sending Hermes? Me. Is it on Instagram? Tell me where it's at. Anyway, so let's see. Oh, not Hermes, her brand. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. Y'all want to hear something crazy? As soon as I open Instagram, look who pops up. They must be listening. That's the color of her uh, brand. Like she just dropped Ivy Park and Adidas collab. So that's her clothing line, and it comes in a box. And orange, you said emotional energy. hmm hmm Right. You said melanated or not. If you've taken part in oppressing Black people, it's payback time. Well, if in the book of Enoch it says that the judgment will be to the elect. So I guess. Yep. The school system can't handle this. The children have lots of questions about our history. Girl, the school system is, I'm sorry, teachers, but it is trash, super trash. You can tell that the school system is super trash when someone tries to argue or debate with you with just the school system's knowledge. Okay. They don't know anything. They might as well have never even gone to school. So the school system is a pure joke. I just use them to get my kids out of my hair so I can do what I need to do and they can have friends. But when they come home, they get the real lessons. Okay. To you, Flame, you say you catching the unholy ghosts. You so silly. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I don't know what led me to this last night. I think I was watching something, it was like horror, something horror related, and then I was like remembering the Exorcist movie, and then I was like, you know what? The body of Christ compels you. You know how people joke around and say that, and I was like, the body of Christ compel. That sound. Ooh. So I started to decode. So I brought up, I posted it on the community section, but I brought up the exorcism ritual and prayer that they did in The Exorcist, and I decoded that thing. And oh my goodness. And if you read what I posted, you'll see. But that whole thing is a powerful, crazy, coded message. So, y'all know how to decode biblically. It's like I've been trying to teach you guys. That message is not, if it's read, it says must be read by a priest only. And back in the day, the only priests were eumelanated people. That means only a eumelanated person with the knowledge of what this really means should read this, because it has no power if you don't know really what it means. Okay. But when you know what it means and you're decoding it, you can feel the power in that ritual. It is crazy. I mean, literally, you start vibrating at a faster rate if you know how to decode it. So, thank you, XOXO Sprinkle Sprinkle. So, anyway, yes. Maybe I have it on my phone. Maybe I can bring it up because I don't want to switch back and forth on my screen. But I might do a whole different video based on that. I might just do a little piece just to get you interested. But it first starts off with the Michael prayer to invoke Michael. Y'all know what that means. The removing of that veil. First, Michael, come on. Come on in, remove that veil. Now we can do what we got to do. That whole thing is super coded. So you got to see what you saw the post driving. Don't read it because you can't read while you drive. It's too long. Shira, could you please do a video on coding parts book of Enoch? I think I have so many from last year. If you go check back last year, that's all I was doing last year. And also, if you join my Patreon, I have, typed up articles and stuff about Enoch as well as the book of Enoch in there in PDF form. So, trying to find it. Here we go. Got it. Right. You said no matter what skin color, it's a scam. No, it's actually a powerful ritual. It's not. It's not a scam. It's a ritual to perform, to bring in your power and to take away powers of those who oppress you. That's what it is. So basically, I brought it up. Blah 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 blah. What the heck is? Oh, see, depends on. Okay, so first it starts off with begging for mercy. Okay, what is this? I gotta say all of that. Okay. Hmm. Oh, this is from a different perspective. This is from the perspective of the sinners. Okay. Let me get to the other one. That was actually the other one. See, they have the one that a priest performs, which is a eumelanated person that understands what it means, and then they have the one for the ones who are not priests, aka the sinners, and their plea. So I'm going to go to the Catholic because that's what I found it. The Catholic one. Okay. I wish I could find the one that I actually posted because that is the exact one that I mhm. That's the exact one that I did. I just put ex- exorcism prayer from the movie. See, a lot of people give up when they can't find something via Google. You have to keep putting in different things to search until you find it. You can't just give up after putting it. I didn't see nothing. Search, 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 search. Keep going. Okay. Okay. I found it. See, it's on CatholicOnline.com. All right. An exorcism prayer and warning to be said by a priest only. Are y'all ready to hear this? I know y'all gonna be able to decode it. I don't even have to decode for you guys anymore because y'all so been on here for a while. This is a prayer against Satan and his rebellious angels. It was published by the order of His Holiness Pope Leo. Was that the 13th? Okay, so the simple prayer must be said by a priest only. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, first you gotta say the prayer to Saint Michael, the archangel. Um, in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Ghost, amen. Most glorious Prince of heavenly armies, most glorious Prince of heavenly armies. Remember when we talked about what the armies of the heavens were over the planet was the magnetosphere, the ionosphere, the veil, okay, the angles. Defend us in battle against principalities and powers, against the rulers of this world of darkness, against the spirits of wickedness in high places. Come to the assistance of men whom God has created in his likeness. I don't even have to keep going because y'all can decode that. And whom he has redeemed at a great price from the tyranny of the devil. On and on and on. Okay, so this is just the Michael prayer. It says, pray therefore the God of peace. Remember when I talked about peace? What the God of peace to crush Satan beneath our feet. Now I decoded the name Jerusalem, which means people of peace. Um, that's why you have to decode all these names. That he may no longer retain men captive and to do injury to the church. The church, what do we talk about? Who was the church? Offer our prayers to the Most High, that without delay, that he may draw his mercy down upon us. The plasma. And bind and cast him into, oh, wait, and then take hold of the dragon and old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bind him and cast him into the bottomless pit. Okay, so in the ancient Egyptian creation story, Set or the serpent would cover the planet Earth as a shield, and that would be taken away and put into a bottomless pit, aka a black hole, and that is Michael's job is to, um, overthrow or lock up, quote unquote, the devil or Satan or the serpent. That's why you always see Michael standing on top of a dragon, which means he took down that veil and threw it, and so it's gone. The black hole into the abyss, into the cosmos is by. So that whole prayer is basically to help wake up the people on the planet Earth, and so that they can no longer be oppressed, and so that they can defeat anyone who is oppressing them. And um, it says, drive you from us, whoever you may be, unclean spirits. So in this prayer, they also make the distinction between spirits and souls. Okay, if you read it, it talks about souls and then it says spirits. So they're obviously two different types of energies. So y'all can just go find it and read it and understand what it really means. Because when you see the words, it makes way more sense. And then it says, Christ, God's word made flesh, commands you. Do you remember when we were talking about, do you command the angels? It says, God, Christ, God's word made flesh. That's the Son of Man, the Eumelanated people. Um, so, command. Thus, cursed dragon and you diabolical legions, we adjure you by giving the living God, by the true God, by the holy God, by the God who so loved the world that blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically, he's saying that there are several forms of God, and there is one that is alive, one with flesh, A, B, C, and D. Okay, so um, it's very long, but it's a ritual and it's like an incantation and it's like it's a spell basically. It's not no prayer. It's a command. That's why they're screaming out the body of Christ compels you. And then they have to sprinkle water because that water represents the plasma. When that plasma get on you, you know, that's it. Um, you awaken and you redeem yourself. You remember who you are and you do what you gotta do. So people be foaming at the mouth. Well, that's the entertainment version of it. Because if you knew how to decode it, you would realize that they're not speaking about spirits inside of you. Okay. But let them act because it brings attention to it and makes you want to research it. So that's fine. That's what it's for. As you know, that's what all the stories are for, to bring you to ask questions. Why they foaming at the mouth? Why they acting crazy? Let me go read what this thing says just in case, because I don't want that to happen to me. Then when you wake up, you like when you conscious, you're like, oh, this is cold. So whatever it does, whatever it needs to draw your attention to it, that's what it's gonna do. Just like most people start lucid dreaming when they're having a nightmare because it's like, I don't know what this means. I'm scared. Fear is driving me. I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, you start changing things mentally in your dream. So it's the fear factor that is meant to wake you up and change things. That's the same thing the Jesus in the boat story. They woke Jesus up and he changed the situation and he said, "Okay, I got it." So that's the point of this plasma energy, this chaos energy coming in to awaken you and to, you know, take things to another level. So, do y'all have any questions? This is not going to be a long video. I'm basically done. I don't really need to decode the entire exorcism ritual because it's so long. But if you just go read it, I did post it in the community section. You should be able to decode that. It's super easy. Hmm. Ectoplasma is what comes out of one's mouth during possessions. It is a manifestation of spirit coming through. Um, I mean, stuff happens that's very unexplainable. Do y'all remember Juice World when he died? He was like having a seizure and stuff was coming out of his mouth, and then they had that TikTok um, challenge like a month before that everybody was doing that. Could be something related, but the thing is that's just going to um, get people to kind of look into it. But I don't really believe people are going to be foaming at the mouth. especially if you're conscious of what's going on, you know, that could be the resistance, that could be, the punishment. We don't know. Are those people being punished? Are they being activated? What's going on? So if you understand what's happening to you, a lot of times your whole demeanor will be a lot different. You can just be calm. You ever seen those horror movies where the person is possessed, but they just acting like they know exactly what they're doing and smarter than ever, you know? Um, there's different types, right? Oh, the book of Numbers. Okay. I'm gonna write that down because I might forget. Hold on. I'm just gonna put it in my notes on my phone. Um, okay, book of Numbers. I don't literally take my Bible because it's too big and I can't see all the little bitty words. So I just look it up on the internet. I have a negative, let's see, I have a negative association with the Bible as a physical thing because when I was growing up, I hated having to sit there and read something that didn't make sense to me and nobody else knew how to interpret it. And I knew that it was like, are you serious? And it's just sickening when people will tell you it's the literal truth as you read it. And it's like you develop a negative um, feeling towards it. So I only like to look at stuff like that online because it's like your memories kick in when you're everybody was saying, oh, it's the truth, it's the truth. It's probably the truth, but do you know what the truth is? Can you interpret this truth? No, that's the literal truth. Okay, well then I know you lying now. So it was just upsetting to me that as a child stuff was being forced on you that you didn't understand, and neither did the person telling you the stuff understand. So it was like a literal brainwashing. And so I was like, I don't think so. And I never would pick it up until I figured out how to decode it. And I would never let my kids be a part of reading the Bible until I knew how to decode it to teach them. And I would never do that to anybody because that's just brainwashing straight up. Um, Good thing I wasn't able to be brainwashed. Um, right. I was like, I'm thinking all y'all are stupid. Y'all are crazy for believing this is literal. Okay, y'all dumb. But magic ain't real. Okay. They'll tell you the Bible is real, but they tell you magic ain't real. But magic ain't real. That ain't real. Okay. But the Bible is. That's right. So that's why a lot of people have a negative association with religion, the Bible, Christianity, and many religions because it's literally forced down your throat when you can't even understand regular words. Like you're still in elementary school learning normal vocabulary. So it's like they push it on kids. They make children Bibles because they want you brainwashed and stupid. But the only thing that was positive about the whole situation is that I remember stuff in a nutshell. Like, you know how I tell my stories? They're not accurate. I can't really quote, but I remember the story. And so the story makes sense if you decode it, as well as the scriptures when you go back and look at it. So now that I'm able to decode things, now it makes more sense scientifically. Mhm. And even though I say, oh, yes, I believe the Bible has a lot of truth in it, a Christian person who had been brainwashed, who believes it literally, will still have a problem with your interpretation of it. So, my thing is, if you're a what I call quote unquote brainwashed, religious person, perhaps taking the time to learn how to decode will help you truly understand what you have been reading. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you'll understand it for once. And there's several perspectives that things are written in that Bible. They're not talking to you. And sometimes the author who is writing whatever you're reading is not for you. And sometimes they are for you, depending on who you are. There are several verses where they're not even talking to you if you are melanated. There are several verses that you don't even have to adhere to if you are melanated, and so that's why in the Catholic version of the exorcism ritual, it says only a priest must perform this and say this ritual because they would only have the power to perform it and nobody else. And a priest represents a melanated person with knowledge of how to interpret that and knowing who they really were. So it's very interesting. Now, if when you go back to read, if you are very understanding and knowing how to decode these things, that you see the several perspectives that's coming through. And it's very interesting because someone asked me, who was a Christian, and I don't know if they were trying to challenge me or not, or see if I knew what my name meant, Ashura, star goddess or whatever, because Ashura is in the Bible as the wife of Baal, or in the Bible, Ashura goddess was worshipped, A, B, C, and D. And then they outlawed the worship of Ashura, and they had Ashura poles, and they cut them down, and A, B, C. That is not from our perspective. That is from the perspective of those who oppress. So they will have you thinking that your um, own self and your own likeness is evil. So Ashira is a goddess that you can trace back to Ishtar, that you can trace back to Osset, aka Isis. So the mother of Heru, the mother of Jesus, a Mary, a Madonna figure, one who brings in love, resurrection, and life. So when people worshiped her, it was worshiping a black goddess. Instead of becoming a goddess themselves, they would rather worship the form rather than to become the form, you know. So that's why, a lot of people were like, dang, you know, because if you read it in the Bible, it says if you follow this, if you follow these types of gods and goddesses, and A, B, C, and D, you will be, blessed. You can reincarnate into this type of body if you help and do right, A, B, C, and D. But they were taking it to the extreme and trying to find the loophole for not mixing into Eumelanin. Instead, they would say, well, we're just going to honor this goddess instead so that people know that we know who has divinity. But that's what they weren't supposed to worship. They were supposed to become. They were supposed to ascend as well. And that's why it got out of hand. That's the same thing with the Jesus story. They was worshiping Jesus and they was like, okay, well, we'll just, we'll color Jesus black until, you know, we change it later on. So basically they were worshiping the black Jesus and the black Madonna, and then they changed it like, when was it? 16th century, 15th century, I don't remember. One of them centuries. Then they changed it to white Jesus. So they had left the whole idea behind in the trash, and that's how everything got flipped and to the state that it's in today. Because instead of worshiping Jesus, they were supposed to become like him, which means look like him as well. And so that got lost in the misinterpretation and misrepresentation of who the Son of Man was to be like. So now that's why you see a lot of issues, because that happened in France when they changed a lot of stuff in the Bible, when they had a lot of people meeting at places to determine what was going to go in, what was going to stay out, and everything like that. So you had a lot of people changing stuff around. But now that people are researching and knowledge is coming in and people are revealing the truth, people are realizing things are very different than what was thought. Been bamboozled. That's right. That's messed up, right? So look up the book of Lamech and Cain. Talks about how God ignores the line of Cain, who had the white fur. They left this book out of the Bible. I'm sure they left a lot of stuff out. That's why you got to go find them. I'll go look for that. Yeah. And it's crazy because they left the parts out that would wake the people up the most and the fastest. They took all of that out that would empower. They took the parts out that were from the perspective of, people that were for your rise. Right. I know Ethiopia still has the original one. That's true. But how many people have an Ethiopian Bible? Not many. So now I think, remember when I told you guys the other day how Doreen Virtue stopped making tarot cards and she's not selling the Ascendant Master cards anymore or any of the tarot cards and stuff with the false images on it, because she would be responsible. She would be one of the ones that are going to be responsible for promoting the false image, which causes confusion. And that's why she pulled her stuff. So, because that is one reason why I never really bought any of her cards except I think this one. And the only reason I bought this set of cards, these are the Archangel Michael cards. The only reason I bought this set of cards is because they had diversity within them and they didn't look like, they have like Native American version. They have, who is? They have, of course, this version. They have the feminine version, the woman version. Then they have like this Peter Pan looking version. And they have the black version. And so that's the only reason. And then they have the Asian, or I don't know if he's Chinese or Japanese. They have this version. And so that's the only reason I bought these cards, because they had a variety in them. But I wouldn't have bought them if they were full of false images, because it's and I would always say this looks like Tom Cruise from the Legend movie, don't it? Look at Tom Cruise. I said they got Tom Cruise in these cards. Anyway, this looks like the Mormon version. What? But anyway, and then they got one looking like Jesus. But y'all see how they did it? But interesting, right? I remember one time, why is the Black community dusty, but you claiming holiness? No disrespect. What? I don't understand that question. You could be dusty and holy. Look at Jesus. How you doing? Just because you dusty don't mean you ain't holy. But see, the Venus energy, the divine feminine energy, is about both being holy and paid. Okay. Look up what energy Venus brings in: love and money. Okay. So there you go. Esther used her divine feminine energy to control her environment. Mhm. Let me see what. Let me see something. I read a comment that I want to read. He said, Doreen Virtue is a born again Christian. She's now against everything she used to believe. This is why I never followed anyone, had a guru. They're all human and fallible. That's true. Um, Somebody just had to tell her. She had to figure it out. She probably got into the science of it. When you go into the science, there's no refuting that evidence. So I think, as you get more popular and higher up into the, whatever, you start to tell, or people start to tell you things. People start to reveal truths to you, and then you start to research them, and then you're in the know as well. So, hmm um, well, y'all don't have to bully each other in the comments. It's and this is why I really try to, it doesn't matter, but this is really why I really try to use scientific words, because as long as I stick to scientific words, people aren't upset. So when I say higher frequency beings instead of you melanated, I get less backlash, I guess. So when I say higher frequency beings, that's code for you melanated, okay? So y'all hear me saying higher frequency beings, y'all know what I'm talking about. Because when you break it down scientifically, that is what it really boils down to. So, or electromagnetic beings, or as Travis Scott would say, the highest in the room. Someone asked me to decode that. I was listening to it. So, mhm, race doesn't, you're right, race doesn't exist on the fifth dimension, only the higher frequencies. You're correct. I mean, that's just the truth. If you're a higher frequency, you can make it to the fifth dimension. And then there's no other races there. You're correct. You're just a higher frequency. That's true. And that's why they kept all this knowledge from you, because you could have been, the earth would have been a lot different if the knowledge hadn't been stolen or switched around. We wouldn't be having this talk, right? Because everybody would be mixed by now. Right, right. Yeah. Jim, I forget what I said. Just higher energy beings, higher frequency beings. That's what it is. If you can get your frequency high, then you are one too. So read, decode the book of Esther. Okay, I'll do that too. She used her baby voice to end the violence against. Oh, wow. Why is the Black Madonna so sacred and hidden? Because they don't want that image out. They don't want that image out. According to the book of Enoch and other texts and books and the Bible and stuff, we're the Son of Man and the AKA elect are supposed to be hidden until a certain time. So they were hiding the fact that um, divinity was right here, and they kept a lot of people from also becoming divine themselves by switching the image. So that's what the switch was about. And I always tell people, it's not really about race. I hate that it is about race, but it's not really about race. It would have never been about race if the image had never been changed in the holy books, or, in a lot of things. It would never have been about it, because if it was never about it until someone wanted to change it. You know what I mean? So, for example, that would be like, let's say Black people, or melanated people, people of color took over the music business and nobody had access to it. Let's say we owned everybody's masters, because, it's been a long, long time and we own it all now, right? That would be like us taking Elvis and painting him brown. Yeah, and saying, "Oh, here come Elvis. Look, ooh, the king of rock and roll and the king of pop. Look at Elvis and Michael Jackson. Go ahead." That would be like taking all of y'all's iconic. That would be like taking Marilyn Monroe and giving her an afro and making her brown. So we wouldn't even do that, because we wouldn't have to. We don't care enough to do that. But someone wanted to take the nose off the Sphinx, because we didn't care about race. We never cared about race. And that's the whole point. We didn't care enough about race to change people's images. So for me, it's not about race, it's about truth. Okay. It was never about race. We never tried to be what we weren't, um, as far as erasing history in order to switch roles. We never did that. And we probably never will, because, I mean, who wants to switch places? I think it's never about race. It was always about just being. And I wish that it was never about race. I wish those images had remained, so it would never have become about race. Hmm. Oh, how many creative mugs do I have? I don't know. Too many. Sometimes they get broken, but this is my Ursula cup. Hmm. The country is always focused on race because it is an oppressive country. Always. If you want to stop focusing on race, then my best solution is to stop focusing on it, you know, stop seeing it. People choose partners, places to live, schools to go to, um, career paths and such based on race. So every time you fill out a form, you got to put what race you are. Every time you get stopped by the police, it's due to probably what race you are, it- depending on what you're doing. So it is always going to be about race until there's only one race, and or until everybody mixes, until people don't see it anymore because it doesn't exist, and people stop trying to change the history of someone else's culture. It will never stop until people stop trying to mess with people's past and history. So that's the best thing that I can explain. It should have never been about race. Should have only been about truth, and that would have been that. Why they created the movement "Time is Up" under the guise of sexual assault victims. Sexual assault victims is also code. Okay, so literally, yes, Sexual assault victims is a thing, but in the Bible, if you decode like fornication, adultery, and rape and all that kind of stuff, it it has everything to do with mixing race or not mixing race. Um, so in the Bible, when it says committing adultery, it means not being with your husband. That means not being with your kind, not being with the type of person that you are supposed to be with, but being with someone else outside of the family, which means, let's say, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West could be an example of the adultery, but their kids who are now mixed would be considered repentant. So when you say repent in the Bible, it means go back towards the right or the righteous or the Eumelanin. So when you try to decode biblical things, you don't, it can mean two things, but the hidden meaning of adultery and sexual assault and time is up means mix. Okay. Um, that's what it represents. Now it's up to you to, and this is why they say mercy, 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 give mercy. That's why Kanye made that song Lamborghini Mercy. Yo chick, she's so thirsty. This means that it is up to the person with the you melanin to give it as a gift unto someone else who wants it. It's not saying, oh, if you want to be that savior, it's up to you. If you don't want to be that savior, then you know how they say vengeance is mine. So it's whatever you choose. You got free will. And that's why I want to say, because a lot of people think I push a certain agenda, but I don't. I push free will. So free will means do what you want to do. Thank you, Alicia. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said keep it up. Hmm. If the plan of mixing would have come true, what would the world have been like by now? It probably would be more peaceful, for sure. 100% sure. They would have had more peace, and there would have probably been less people in prison, less poverty. But I'm pretty sure that's what it would have become. But that's what they now that's what they want it to become now, because they're pushing that agenda. Because just like you said, the hashtag times up with the sexual assault things is times up. Hmm. I don't know. I don't really push any agendas. I just share what I know and create your own thoughts behind it. I don't push anything. Mm. I don't represent any type of agenda. I just tell you what I know, and you can represent whatever agenda you want to. Right? Right. You said according to science, it says you are what your dad is. According to what type of science, though? You got to really understand when they do science, it's also from two perspectives. When they take two different types of people and they do autopsies on you, you are not the same. So science done on this person and science done on this person will yield way, various results. So whenever you read, oh, this is bad for you, but it's actually good for you because you have melanin, but it's bad for you if you don't. So you're walking around thinking stuff is bad for you when it's really enhancing you. You see, like the radiation and the solar energy that's coming in, stuff like that is good for you. Not good for everybody, but it's good for you. And I feel that when you start reading studies based on science, you need to see who's writing it. Where if you really want some good information in science, you need to you need to put specifically in there what you are looking for, you know, because it's not like if you look up radiation, UVB radiation, um, and it comes in, and oh, it's going to sound really bad, but if you put in UVB radiation, eumelanin, and eumelanin, then you're going to see a whole different story. So you have to really know thyself, is what I'm trying to tell you. Know thyself. Um, it says the mother holds the mitochondrial DNA. Yep. And only she can pass it onto her children. That's true. And the mother holds the mitochondrial DNA, and that is what it is. That's why when they do forensics, that's who they use to trace DNA. Hmm. Um, they're about to push CO2 seltzer and sprinkling water. What do you think? I don't drink that. I just drink regular water. Mhm. I think they're trying to alter their frequency, and they've been doing that by putting a lot of things in foods and experimenting and putting a lot of things in drugs and experimenting and lowering the testosterone in a lot of types of people through the medical grade marijuanas and stuff like that, lowering your sperm count, lowering your testosterone, and things like that. And then for women it does the opposite. Like for women like that smoke a lot of marijuana or weed, it makes you more masculine, especially if it's not like the natural old school cannabis or whatever. If y'all are smoking that chemical stuff or that government grown stuff, it's creating um, feminine men and masculine women because of the chemical makeup and the things like that. Like when you light it on fire, the chemicals that are produced from the smoke when you inhale is what causes the masculinity or the low testosterone. It's and it's just not something that is beneficial. Do your research. That's all I say. Just do the research. I don't have to come up here and say nothing. It doesn't benefit me. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any of that, so I don't really care. Um, and I really don't care if y'all do or not. It's up. Everybody has free will. I'm just giving you the information. That's it. I could care less. I don't know y'all. All I'm giving you is the information. That's all I'm supposed to do. You do with it what you want. Eventually, when people realize it later on, when someone else says it, then it's true. So I'll let y'all wait until that happens, but it might be too late by then. Um, there you go. You said we ended slavery. Welcome at God's ex. Well, but no, we ended slavery. You need to go back and do your research. We ended slavery. They had to pretend they ended slavery because people was getting killed. They would come and find plantations and houses burnt. Everybody did. Y'all know the story of Nat Turner. Y'all seen Django. No, we ended slavery, but it was covered up because they didn't want to show a shift in the power and put fear into the hearts of whoever. And they wanted to remain having the role of being in charge, but they had found several people killed. I mean, because I know if I was a slave, everybody be dead because I would have poisoned everyone's food. Point, we wouldn't be here. Okay, so I'm sure there were revolts going on. High death rates, high illness rates, A, B, C, and D. But the point is, you know, if we had control of history, then we could rewrite it as well. That's all I'm saying. We could edit history as well. And when I ain't gonna say if, But when that day comes, if you go look on Twitter, people are already preparing on who they're gonna turn y'all's icons into. I'm gonna tell people this was this and that. I'm gonna tell people this was my lawn man. They're already doing it on Twitter. They're already changing your icons because of how y'all did our icons. So in our history. So I would never change anything. I would because if you change stuff, we see where that gets you. And I wouldn't change it. I would let it be known. Um, that's right. Do you think we need to prep? Nope. I don't think you need to prep at all. See, if you can decode things literally, you'll see there's no need for preparation. The only thing that you need to do is search for knowledge. That's all you got to do. That's all you need to do. Search for knowledge and come out of victim mentality. And that's it. Remember what I told you? The Bible has two different perspectives. And if there's doomsday, it's not for everybody. And it's not all of a sudden, and it's not overnight. It's a gradual shift, you know. So, for example, let's say it took 25 years or 50 years for everyone to become one. That's not a doomsday. It's more of a transition into a new body. You see? So when they say you must be reborn through the body of Christ, that's just what they're talking about mixing. hmm Um, Big Smile. You said Australia is having their doomsday. Wow, except for the natives. Oh, and then like that fire, not the fire, but the California thing where the jet was dropping jet fuel over Los Angeles. They said there was enough jet fuel in that plane to go all the way to China. They was just leaving the airport and they had to make an emergency landing, so they dropped the fuel out. I mean, don't y'all think that's gonna start fires too? Okay, I'm just saying. I told y'all about the California fires and the Australian fires. Now they just dropped a bunch of jet fuel over LA. Good luck. I'm get near some water or something. And plus, jet fuel is highly toxic as well. Highly toxic to the environment, to people, to the atmosphere. So um, that's not good. hmm I told my husband about it, so I'm speaking knowledge to you. Okay. Velvet's fine. You live in West Hollywood? Oh. If you had a hunch to go somewhere and you didn't, is it a bad thing? I was thinking that the other day because I've been wanting to go somewhere for a long time. And I was thinking about these certain places on the planet and why they were very sacred. Um, the vortex energies that are there. I think a lot of people go to visit like Stonehenge, Sedona, the pyramids, A, B, C, and D. A lot of these places are places of power. And during certain magnetic and energetic shifts and frequency changes on the planet, they become highly active. So I just think if you want to go somewhere, you should go. Right. Portals. Right. Yeah. I just I just feel like, I don't have anything to push. I just want to give information. The thing that they held from you, information. I'm not saying it's 100% factual truth. I'm saying this is what I've researched, this is what I found on my journey, and I share with you. If you haven't searched or found or looked for anything on your journey, but just took someone's word for something, then you can't refute anything that I say logically. All you can do is go and research things for yourself and get your own personal perspective of the information that I shared if you want to. It's all free will. And that's the beauty of it. I don't have to push anything. It doesn't make it true if I say it. It only makes it true if you go and search for it and get your own particular perspective of the information. So that's why I don't really debate. That's why I don't get in like those silly arguments with people who are, oh, I'm more well versed than you in this type of history, or I know this better than you, or I can debate you on this historical thing, A, B, C, and D. You know, that's probably more entertainment for some people. In competition, it's a masculine energy, and I don't thrive in a masculine energy. I'm more of a feminine energy, so I don't need to compete. I don't need to argue or debate anybody. I just give my information and do with it what you want. You know. So I really don't care if you believe it or not. It's just if someone told me something, I might be curious enough just to go research it and see what it was. And that's all that people should be doing. They shouldn't take anybody's word for anything because that's exactly how people got brainwashed in many, many things. hmm So, whatever religion you are, wherever you came from, the truth is going to be still the same, no matter what part of the world you go to. Science is still going to be the same. Um, Information is still going to be able to be found and searched, and then your perspective will be, your view. And that's it. Um, hmm Let's see what time it is. I might go my other channel. Yeah. All right. Well, I just wanted to share that with y'all. And if y'all feel like extra energized as the temperature gets hotter, as we get closer to spring and summertime, it is, it's going to be much hotter. There's more plasma and solar energy that's coming into Earth. And so you're going to see a lot more plasma storms. You're going to feel a lot more energy. You're going to start getting more information, more dreaming, more lucid dreams, more frequency changes, more ideas, more confidence, I'll say. And um, hopefully, you're not stuck in a place that you cannot grow from because that will also cause you confusion and possibly anger and depression because you don't know who you are. Okay. A lot of people are calling or texting or writing me and talking about, I just feel a little bit down or I don't know what's going on. My energy just feels off. And a lot of times it's because you can't accept that chaotic energy that's coming in because you've been programmed to feel a certain way, think a certain way, and vibrate on a certain frequency when you're supposed to be vibrating on the highest frequency. And if you're able to do that, these energies that are coming in are going to be highly, highly beneficial to you. If you can't vibrate on your highest frequency, then you're not going to be able to what they call jam or match that frequency. So it's going to be a little bit off. It's kind of like harmonizing. If you harmonize and you sound good, or if you're singing unison and you sound good, but if you're off key, it sounds terrible. Nobody want to hear that or listen to it, and it is very uncomfortable. So when you are on your highest frequency, you have no issues during, this energy coming in, this knowledge coming in, and receiving it, and not feeling, some type of way or off or down or sullen or something. Get your frequency high. Okay. If y'all think y'all gonna be saved because you're black, you got another thing. Oh, we don't listen to people that try to tell us about ourselves. We know it's in our DNA, and these energies are coming in, and people are waking up now. I mean, like, there is no more um, merit in what many people have to say. Um, there's no more merit. Like, why would we believe that? Why would we believe you? You know, we don't have reasons. So I'd rather believe my frequency, what I have researched, what has been hidden, what has been changed on purpose to be kept hidden, what many have tried to erase. I would rather believed what someone scratched out rather than what someone put and rewrote. Okay. Thank you, Gladys Stowe, Sprinkle Sprinkle. I'd rather believe that, when people do, forensic evidence and, detective work, and they're trying to find out some information, they don't go and, look what they don't believe what someone tells them. They go and do the research. They go and do the forensics. They search. They actually have to go and search beyond what most people will do. And that's exactly why people are waking up, because they are researching further, because they have a reason to. Many people don't have a reason to research because they've been told something, and since it's not, you know, detrimental to them, they just believe it as, as fact, because it's not hurting them. Thank you, Heartwise, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So when you understand that, when things have been hidden and you find the truth and you know it, and it's been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and they're still discovering ancient relics from even, before that, that say the same exact thing, then I'm going to believe that. Okay. So I really feel that if you don't have any, you know, anything to, say otherwise, especially scientific, if you don't have any scientific evidence of that, then it's probably best not to go around talking about it. Hmm. Do I believe just because you're black, you don't have to be righteous? Righteous represents being on a certain frequency on the right side of the electromagnetic spectrum. If you go and Google the image of the electromagnetic spectrum, you will see that the right side is where the gamma rays and cosmic rays are outside of the spectrum of light. That is righteous. It's on the right side, not the left side. Righteous also means on a surface level to act as you are divine. Thank you, Voodoo Child, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Love your videos here since late 2016, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So, yeah, righteous would be acting divine, right? So, righteous would be being divine. Righteous would mean acting divine. If you were told you weren't divine and treated as less than human, would you still be acting righteous after hundreds of years of brainwashing? Probably not. Not until you woke back up and figured out who you were. Then that transition would begin, that transformation. So it is a process, it is alchemy, it is all that. But I know that when you try to hide things, Like I said, it eventually comes to light. Hmm. I have not watched The Messiah on Netflix. Right. Hmm. I have not watched that. Mhm. I did see a preview of The Watchmen though, and it looks really super coded just from the preview. Like, right. Mhm. So thank y'all for watching. I had to put that out there. I know a lot of people get in their feelings and get mad. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, don't look at me. Look at people that are. Don't be mad at what I have discovered. Be mad at what was done. I did nothing but read and convey messages. The people that you should be upset with are the people that changed your history, not me, because I didn't do anything. Okay? Don't be mad at me. I didn't change anybody's history. I didn't lie to everybody. I didn't say this is that when it wasn't. So you can't be upset with me. And I always tell people you're upset at the wrong people. You're upset at the wrong thing. Focus where the problem started, and then go be mad at them. Go be mad at um, what do they call it in the exorcism prayer? The rulers of the dark world, the world of darkness. That's code right there. Go be mad at them. Okay. um, righteous does not equal letting others commit atrocities against you and you don't respond properly. That's true. But brainwashing and taking bits and pieces out of your history so that you don't know who you are and what you are capable of or your true potential then kicks in and you don't know who you are and what you're capable of and if you are right or wrong anymore because someone had lied to you and took your entire culture and history away so you don't know anything. But now that you know, you do better. Yes. Now that you know, you do better. That's it. You can't blame someone in the past for doing something that they did not know that they were doing. It's just like a child. You don't punish a child for something that it doesn't understand because no one has taught it yet. So there you go. It even explains it in the book of Enoch, that aspect of not knowing and all those things that were done due to not understanding and knowing who you were are not, you're not going to be held accountable for it. That's why in that Drake song he said, oh, was it Drake? Mm, hold on. I'm just trying to see what song. No, it was Rick Ross. He said he's going to walk on all charges. It was Drake or Rick Ross. Maybe it was the song that they were both in, Gold Roses or something. Anyway, he says he walks on all charges, which represents he's not held accountable for his actions due to the fact that before he was having knowledge of himself and his history, he was not held accountable for the things that he did. So that's that. Um, let me see something. Why would I be mad? I'm black. Look up where your electromagnetic field is produced, which is in your heart. That's true. It's tied as positive emotion. Did a whole 2-hour video on this. Yep, that's true. As within, so without. As above, so below. Your heart, your has an electromagnetic field. It's your frequency. It's your beat. It's everything. So everything is another version of the other thing. So just like the earth has the same field, just like Venus has a field, just like your heart has a field, because your chakras are also represented as worlds. So, decoding everything, you'll see all is connected. It's just a smaller version of this, a smaller version of the cosmos. Mhm. Um, when I say plasma, I'm speaking of the fourth state of matter, which is what gas then turns into. So the first state of matter is ice, which would be solid. Then you have liquid, which would be water. Then you have gas, which would be clouds or steam or whatever gas. Then you have plasma, which would be like lightning, electricity, cosmic rays, gamma rays. Plasma. The plasma in your blood is different from the fourth state of matter. They just call it the plasma because it's a certain part of your blood. But your blood also has electromagnetic frequency to it as well. So there is um, a higher electromagnetic frequency in your blood if you have certain DNA. Yes. Okay. So that's what that's why they collect it. Uh-huh. Mm. When you were young, you thought it was for the greater good. Mm. What? And it doesn't bother me that people it, because if it did, I wouldn't be right for doing what I do. Like that's the only reason that I think I like and enjoy doing what I do, like making these videos and doing research, because I really don't get bothered by certain people's comments or issues or trolls or anger. Um, like I said, I think when you grow up in a certain type of environment around certain type of people in a certain type of mm, society, the things that work on some people don't work on others. So imagine like somebody who grew up like in you know let's just say I guess we can use like Jay-Z as an example since he's always talking about it, from Brooklyn where he was from, and he sold drugs, and he watched people get shot. Do you think if he got online to say what he had to say that he would be offended by any trolls or upset with anyone thought about him or ABC and D when he was raised basically in an environment that he wasn't really supposed to make it out of? Um, I don't think that he would care too much, because it wouldn't bother him because it's nothing. It's like a a pinch, or not even a pinch, but like if someone touched you. It has no effect on certain types of people and their mentality, right? I mean, it's hard because I worked in the funeral industry for so long. It's like a lot of stuff does not even bother me. It's like unbothered. Hmm. Sure, I'm watching the news, and one going is wearing red ties and the other one blue ties. The news anchor is wearing purple. They showed a clip of Trump wearing a red and blue tie. Says this is a joke. Wow. They're trying to confuse you now. Look at the ears. That's how you can tell now. The, the fake Trump has less wrinkly ears. And you see, like right here, just look at them ears. One is more wrinkly. The real Trump is older. And the fake Trump, he has more energy. Just watch. You can tell the difference. If you're paying attention to it, you'll know one has on a mask because his face is fatter. And if you look at the other one, his face is normal and he has less energy. Also, look at the hands. The hands are fatter too on the fake one. Okay. I don't watch the news that much either. Like if I'm walking by and the TV's on and James is watching something, I'll look, but I don't specifically go looking for it. Hmm. Right. Why are there two Trumps? Travel Trump. He can't be everywhere at the same time. He got to compete with young people. Shoot. So he needs two. They said the game was never fair. If you could play, you play how you choose to play. The game is not fair. And if you could have two of you and make double the money, wouldn't you do it? And pay the other one a little chump change? Okay. A little Trump change. I mean, I have no bias. I'm not political. I just see what I see. That's why I said I don't have an agenda. I just see what I see. Look, if I was in that position, I would have two of me too. If I'm too lazy to be everywhere at the same time, I don't care enough to do that. I'm just gonna hire somebody to be there and say that they me. Michael Jackson did the same thing. It's like I'm tired. Send that one. Okay. Just like if you watch This Is It, you'll see that there's two MJs. When he didn't feel like going to rehearsal, he sent his double girl. Send the double in. I'm tired. Um, right, right. Oh, legendary. It's okay. It's not a clone. It's a silicone mask and an actor. Go Google this silicone mask of Donald Trump. Look at the silicone masks that they have created. They are super realistic. Just go Google that. You're gonna laugh and hit image when you do it. You're decoding colors. Okay. You saw that Michael looked weird on This Is It. Yeah. Because there was two different ones. When you're a diehard Michael Jackson fan, you know the fake one because they don't dance the same, they don't move the same, they don't have the same body language. Um, just like if you were married to somebody and they tried to pull the okey doke on you and send a lookalike to you, you wouldn't know that that's not your husband. You just know because of their mannerisms, the way that they walk, how they do certain things, how they open a jar, how they write, how they hold a pen, how they sneeze. So when you watch someone since you were alive, and then they show you something towards you've been alive 30 something years, And now you see this and you said, that don't seem like Michael Jackson. That looks off. He's, that's not right. That's not him. So so we know that people do have doubles that stand in for them. Hmm. How do they get the voices right? Do you know how many people can just practice someone's voice and kind of imitate it somewhat? Michael Jackson's voice is very easy if you are a man and you have been watching him for years and know his every move. I'm pretty sure you could get his voice down too. They also have like if you're speaking on a microphone, they also have digital technology now and auto tune and things like that that can also alter your voice. Um, so yeah, I'm getting ready to go switch channels. But thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you everyone who donated. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new and you like what you heard. And like this channel, I kind of just do videos to kind of help you see what's going on at the present moment at this time. It may change in the future when, people have, evolved enough to not really need this type of information, and it might turn into, something more, or whatever. But right now, I think the information that needs to be given the most is what I'm trying to do. Okay. So thank y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye.